Mr. Thing has a problem. He lives in a castle made of things. Sofas stacked on sneakers, stacked on smart toasters, shiny gadgets piled on unopened gadgets, piled on why did I even buy this gadgets. Every payday he buys more, stacks more, and then wonders, where did my money go? Mrs. Thing walks in with a marker. She draws 3 big boxes on the whiteboard. Needs, wants, future.
Today, we stop serving the things and make the things serve us.
Here's how it happens. Mr. Thing brings home $2,000. He feels rich. He even dreams about finally saving something. But then the army of things marches in. $1,000 for rent, $300 for groceries, $200 for bills. And just when it looks manageable, the sneak attack begins. A midnight food delivery, a deal of the day that expires in 6 hours. Another subscription that promised first month free and never left. 70 here, 100 there, 15 dripped out every month like a leaky faucet. 6 for cloud storage, 9 for a meditation app he opened once, 30 for a gym membership he hasn't touched since January. And coffee, always coffee, $4, then another 4, then another 4, until the math quietly stacks up into hundreds. By week 2, he's nervous. By week 3, his account balance says $23.19. By week 4, 0. And there he stands, surrounded by a mountain of things, riding the emotional roller coaster of modern money, payday joy, mid-month panic, end-of-month despair. And he asked the same ancient question. Where did it all go? It didn't vanish. It didn't evaporate. It went exactly where the math told it to go, because money doesn't disappear. Money obeys math. This is the shocking truth. Personal finance is not a mystery. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's math. Just math. Every single choice, how much you save, how much you spend, how much you borrow, can be explained with basic numbers. But here's the problem. We leave school knowing how to find the area of a triangle, but not how to divide a paycheck. We can solve for X, but can't calculate credit card interest. Mr. Thing once spent a whole semester learning the quadratic formula, but when the electric bill came due, he stared at it like it was written in ancient Greek. Mrs. Thing explains it differently.
Here's the math you really need. Take your paycheck. Divide by 4. That's your weekly budget. Take your weekly budget. Divide by 7. That's your daily limit. That's it. That's the math school that they forgot to teach. It's simple. 3 categories control your money: budgeting, saving, investing. Understanding those 3, and you'll control the castle, instead of letting the castle control you.
And when she writes it out, paycheck divided by 4 equals weekly allowance, weekly divided by 7 equals daily spending, the mystery dissolves. So, all this time I thought money was complicated, but it's just adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. Budgeting is the foundation. Mrs. Thing draws the famous rule of 50, 30, 20. 50% for needs, rent, food, transportation. 30% for wants, dinners out, trips, fun things. 20% for future, savings, investments, debt repayment. But the vacation is a need, isn't it? And the pizza oven, that's definitely a need. And the 80-inch TV, well, that's practically essential.
No, those are just castle decorations. Needs keep you alive. Wants make life fun. Future makes sure you still have a life later.
Let's do the math with $2,000. $1,000 to needs, $600 to wants, $400 to the future. That's it. Just division. Even if the paycheck is smaller, say $1,200, the math still works. 600 needs, 360 wants, 240 future. And if it's a family with kids, same math. Just divide the pie differently, but always keep the slices. The point isn't the size of the paycheck. The point is giving every dollar a home, because when you don't give your money a home, the things will gladly adopt it. Now for the fun part, saving and compounding. When you save money and invest it, something magical happens. The math multiplies itself.
Money babies. Dollars that earn money, and then that money earns money too.
So, my dollars have babies? Here's the simple rule. The rule of 72. Take 72 and divide by your interest rate. That's how many years it takes your money to double, at 8%. 72 divided by 8 is 9. That means your money doubles every 9 years. 1,000 becomes 2,000 in 9 years. 4,000 in 18, 8,000 in 27, without adding a single dollar. But here's the twist. Starting early multiplies the doubles. If Mr. Thing starts at 40, his 1,000 grows slowly into 8,000 by retirement.
So the earlier you start, the more doubles you get.
Great. I should have started 20 years ago. If Mrs. Thing starts at 20, her 1,000 grows into 64,000 over the same stretch. Same math, different timing. It's like planting trees. Plant them early and you sit in the shade for decades. Plant them late and you're still sweating in the sun when the younger trees are already tall. But compounding doesn't just work for you. It can work against you. Debt uses the same math, but in reverse. Interest rate, 24%.
72 divided by 24 equals 3. That means your debt doubles every 3 years if you don't pay it off.
1,000 becomes 2,000. 2 becomes 4. 4 becomes a nightmare. And the cruelest part? He's still paying for a treadmill he used twice, a vacation he barely remembers, and a pair of sneakers that already fell apart. Debt is compounding math with a villain's cape, and unless you pay it off, it multiplies faster than you can fight it. Not all debt is equal. A mortgage at 5%, that doubles in about 15 years. Manageable? A student loan at 7%, doubles in 10. Risky but possible. But credit cards at 20+%, that's quicksand. Step in once, and it pulls you under. So what's the point of all this? Personal finance isn't a guessing game. It isn't a gamble. It isn't luck. It's math. Simple math. When you budget, you divide your paycheck into needs, wants, and future. When you save, you multiply your money through compounding. When you borrow, you let percentages work against you. It's not magic. It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Mr. Thing finally sees it. The castle of things he built was never a mystery. It was just math. So, my whole life has been run by numbers?
Your future is written in numbers. The only question is, will you use the math in your favor or let it use you?
And here's the challenge. Next payday, don't just spend, write it out. 3 boxes on a page, needs, wants, future. Divide the numbers. Look at your subscriptions, your coffee runs, your deal of the day gadgets. Ask, are these serving me or am I serving them? Because at the end of life, you don't carry the castle of things with you. You leave it behind for a yard sale. But the math you choose today stays with you forever.